everybody, it's Christine. Welcome back to my channel. Today is my birthday, and there goes Razzle. So I couldn't do a wrap up yesterday. It was busy, and it was Halloween. So, anyways, before I start, I want to give a happy birthday wishes to Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books. It's her birthday as well today, so if you want to go check her out, I'll leave her link down below. So, last week I read This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It was wonderful. I love her writing. This is the first book by her that I've ever read, and it was beautiful. It's about humans and monsters. Every time something bad happens, a monster is created, and there are 3 different types of monsters. One that only comes out at night or in the dark. One that looks like humans, but they kind of are like vampires, but they're not vampires. And then there's the ones that only go after sinners, and they suck their souls out to live. So yeah, I loved it. Loved it. And the next one I read was Joyland by Stephen King. It's about a boy who has a girlfriend, and they have to work in different cities on their break from university. And he ends up going to work at this carny called Joyland, and there had been this murder years and years ago that everybody says there's a ghost on one of the rides, and only certain people see it. And he also ends up meeting, on his way back and forth to work, this mother and son who's in a wheelchair. I liked it, but I found that it was very slow to get into. I don't know if it was just my mood or what, but I found it very slow and dry, but then it did pick up quite a bit. So yeah, 4 out of 5 from that one. Then I finally finished The Craft Business Power by Jason and Cinnamon Miles, and they are a husband and wife team who run Liberty Jane patterns, Liberty Jane clothing, and Pixie Fair. And I use their patterns in my sewing. In fact, you can see the green one right there is one of their patterns from Melody Valerie Couture. And this is just one of his books that he goes over how to, start a craft business, or how to manage a craft business online. And I gave it a 4. It goes over several different points. Like, most of them are common sense, but some of them he gives you examples on how they did it and how you could do it. And it's not they don't write it as if it's for a doll clothing business. They write it for a craft business, but then they give examples of how they've done it with their doll clothing patterns and stuff. So I thought it was very informative. Yeah, so I definitely gave it a 4. And then I read Borrowed Baby by Leslie Davis Guccione. And I love these books, but this one had some serious issues. I only gave it a 2. Because I don't like when, I guess this is a trope that I don't like, but it's guys using things or people to get what they want or to prove a point. He used his nephew as his single dad to get women, and he was writing it for an article, but he had many different, he meets up with this girl, and her name is Shannon, and his is Nick, and he had several different chances to tell her that he was writing an article and she would be kept out of it, and he didn't. And he kept, when she would call them out on it, like, she would find out the details of what was going on, not entirely, but she would find out a detail and she would call him out on it, and he would turn around and blame her for it, and that drove me up a wall. And then he had other ways or other chances to tell her more of what was going on, and she would call him out on it again, and he would turn around, blame her, and then have this smug look on his face as if, what are you going to do about it? And then she falls for him. Like, he says, oh, I'm sorry, and then she falls for him. Like, no. 2. Because the only parts that I did like were with his nephew Kip, and they were written sort of realistically and sort of not. For a 2-year-old to have a full vocabulary Not going to happen. So when he's saying full sentences and knowing exactly what it means, sorry, but no 2-year-old does that. But when he comes to like taking off and running hell bent for leather, that was realistic. Or, him giving him spaghetti and having it all over the place, yeah, that was realistic. But for a 2-year-old to have full vocabulary, no. So, rant over. I also actually DNF'd a book, and it was The Wizard of Halloween by Nolan Carlson. There was actually no reviews on Goodreads about it at all. And I was surprised, but my son we were reading it and it was kind of like, huh? No. It was very hard to understand. And for a middle grade book, my son couldn't grasp it. I was having a hard time understanding it, and I can understand why there's no reviews. It was a bad book. I got 5% in and said, nope, done. So I think that was my third book that I've ever DNF'd. One was in grade school, and it was Nathaniel Hawthorne, and I was too young to read it. I still have it, but it's packed away at my mom's right now. And then there was another book in grade school. Again, it was too old for me, and my mom was even having a hard time reading it, and I can't remember the name. I just remember it was a yellow book with a black cat on it. Yeah. So that was only my third book in my life that I've ever DNF'd. Anyways, so I'm currently reading The Arabian Nights, illustrated by Renee Bull. I actually read the majority of this last night while my husband took the kids out trick-or-treating. But yeah, it is a bunch of short stories, but if you've read The Wrath of the Dawn, you know that Scheherazade is telling stories to keep herself alive every night. And that's the way this book is. It's these are the stories she ends up telling to keep herself alive. So I liked how that is, like, it's continued, because I thought they were just a bunch of short stories, but no, it's actually her telling the story, and then you have to come back to the next story to see what she tells the next night. And yeah, it's really good. And if you know me, Aladdin is my favorite. Aladdin and Jasmine are my favorite Disney things. I'm also struggling with the autobiography of Malcolm X as told to Alex Haley. The first 30 pages are just an introduction from his daughter and somebody else that had written, M.S. Handler. I guess it was a friend of his or something. But I can't even manage to get through the first chapter because I thought he was a humble man. I was under the impression that he was very humble, and I don't know if it's because of the way Alex Haley has written it, but I'm finding this very high and mighty of him, that yes, he is better than everybody else. He may be black, but he is, and this is not my thoughts on it. This is just the tone of the writing, and it's very, high and mighty-ish, very hypocritical. And there was another word that I was thinking, but it's just that as it's being told, it's he's saying, well, they can't do it, but I can, and well, we have to fight for our rights, but we're better than they are. Like, really? The way I was brought up, everybody's created equal, no matter what color, race, size, sexuality. Everybody is equal. Nobody is better than everybody else. And yeah, it's striking me wrong. Like, I thought he was more like, well, I can't even say that because I don't know much about him either. But it's yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna keep trying and see where I get with it. But I don't know if that's Alex Haley putting his little thoughts as if he was talking, or if that's actually how he's talking. we haven't even gotten through his childhood yet. And yeah, if anybody's read this, let me know if it gets better or if it's just me or what, because yeah, I'm baffled, like just baffled. So also today we are supposed to be starting for on the booktube shelf, or hashtag on the booktube shelf, our book for the nonfiction November, and it is Dead Mountain by Donnie Eichar, and it's a true story of the Dyatlov Pass incident, and it's about a bunch of hikers that go up the Dyatlov mountains and get lost or they disappear. My copy has not got here yet. It was supposed to get here on Thursday, and it is still not here. And I ordered this October 19th, and it's only coming from Portland, Oregon. So I don't know why it's taking so long. Usually a book does not stay in customs this long. So if it does not get here today, I will just have to catch up. But I also do not know the reading order or who's reviewing what part yet, or the page numbers. But if you want to check Jen from Reading with Pugs, Elisa from Paper Bits, or Alana from Alana Reads, they might have I haven't seen anything on their channels yet about the reading order, whatever, yet. So I'm sorry that this was posted today about this month's reading. And I was kind of hoping to have the book with me. So yeah, we're reading that today. I think we're going to be taking longer with it because the 1 week was some of the girls were struggling. So yeah, that is my wrap up. That's what I'm going to be currently reading. I probably will finish Arabian Nights today. I don't know what I'm going to be picking up after that, because having 2 nonfiction books might just be enough for this week. Yeah, so let me know if you've read any of these books, if you like them. Like I said, the Malcolm X is just, I don't know what's going on with it or why it's striking me as, yeah. So I hope everybody has a wonderful week, and I will see you later.